Hi again, everyone, and welcome back to the Da Vinci Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. Well, I have allowed this paint to dry. I'm not unhappy with it, but it still looks a little too yellowed because gold, like many colors, comes in different tints and shades. So I actually found I had this is acrylic paint in a color called medium gray. It's called Folk Art. I may have gotten this at an arts and crafts store as well. It's an acrylic paint, and so it has the same water-based nature as my my hobby craft paints here. So I'm going to take a little bit of this gray. I'm going to take this little section of my gold here. Got to be, again, when you have a solid color, you got to be real careful, make sure everything is mixed really well. I'm mostly doing that here, but keep in mind that because of the textured nature of the finish here, because it's kind of mottled, M-O-T-T-L-E-D, I think I have that right, then I may be able to get away with not, having to have every single bit. But I'm still trying to get rid of some of this yellow. The gray will have a little bit of a blue cast and hopefully cancel out some of the yellow nature of the golds that I'm working with here. But it is still an experiment, and sometimes, that's part of what we do. We experiment to see. I'm going to go back to my little pot here of Canoptek alloy. I'm not part of that gaming world, so some of you who know the gaming world may have more knowledge of this than I do. So I'm taking this. This is the more silver of the two golds that I bought, which is still a little too yellow. So now I'm going to, as I move some of this off my thumb, isn't that lovely? I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to forget the yellower gold mixture that I have here, that big blob. I'm going to put a new blob of of this less yellowed gold, which is still too yellow in terms of the paint color I'm looking at, trying to aim for. And I'm going to take a little bit of that gray. I'm just going to sort of dab it in here. I have to be careful. If I put too much gray, I may darken it too much, in which case it's not going to be all that helpful. But this is one of these things that you really are, it's the ultimate eyeballing thing. You're just basically trying to do it. You want to get as close as you can, right? And so I'll simply take what I have here and see if it makes a difference. It might not, but I can simply take this new mixture and go right over what I had done before. Let's see if we can get that nice close-up for you guys. This is interesting. It looks like it's a little bit closer. Now, if you're not sure about doing this and just mixing the color and putting it right on your machine, I know I can paint over it, but there's only so many times you'll do that. You can always take something that is not porous. You can take something that is flat, and you could experiment with the custom colors you're making, and then sort of hold it up against your paint finish to see how close you think you are. Let's kind of come back this way here. So what I'm seeing initially is that the gray seems to have helped cancel out some of that gold. Will it be perfect? What is perfect, right? Is it where I can't tell that I've done anything? Probably not. But again, we don't want to draw attention to it. Let's shift our perspective here as I move my way down so you can see this little section. And let's get a little more light. on there. And I don't have a giant blob of paint on the end of my brush, because then I have more paint that I need to manage and end up with a big blob. And if I'm filling in what is essentially a gap where the old paint has gone. But I don't want to be in a situation where you can have not enough paint or you can have too much, and I really don't want either. So I am lucky that sometimes when you're trying, you've got let's say you got a smooth finish, black finish on a like a Singer, black Singer, and you really want that paint to be nice and flat and smooth, and your brushes can get in your way if you're not careful. I've even added a little alcohol, a little solvent to those testers paints to get them to flatten even more. The more solvent in a paint, the more chance it has to flatten out before it dries. If you ever have a paint that shows any kind of texture marks based on what you applied it with, chances are it dried. It didn't have as much solvent in it. Now this has helped. I don't know if any of you, it may look rather light to you. If I turn it, right, if I turn it here out of the light, I don't know. You folks, is it any better at all? I know that you're looking at it through a camera, which is a little bit different than when you are seeing it live, as I am. So I went over in these areas right here. Let's pull this back a little bit for you. So I came over here, and the gray has helped. It's not quite as yellow. I have a touch up here and here. Can even go back over to the bed of the machine. Go back to the earlier places that I touched up that should benefit from my trying to get rid of that little gold, the little yellow tint that the gold had, which would be great if I had a machine that color, but I don't. So I basically want to camouflage the damage that the machine had gone through. If your paint has any kind of paint loss to it, it usually is going to happen for just a few reasons. Either there was a problem, when painting is done, if the surface has any kind of oil or dirt or dust, it can contaminate it and prevent the paint from now that's turning out pretty well. That's on the bed it actually is hiding because the bed has a different shape than the top, which is sort of curved. Now I'll come back over here and see if I can, again, you've only got so many layers you can add before, once you fill in that hole, at some point you're going to be, you're dealing more with a raised area, right? You don't necessarily want that either. You want it to be as smooth as possible. I think I've shown that in that raspberry deep metallic pink machine that I have. So I don't think that this is a perfect match, but let me know what all of you think. Have I improved it? Have I made it worse? I think either of those is a valid opinion. And what would you do? It's one thing if you're doing, black is the easiest color to do touch-up with. What else could I do? I don't have it too dark, so one thing I could do, now I'm going to turn this and show you something. Notice when I have it in this light, you see it here, right where my thumb is. But then when I turn it and the light is different, it begins to recede or camouflage into the background. Maybe try it once more. Maybe add just a bit more gray to my little mixture here, hoping I don't make it too dark. Then I can always try to come back with some of the some of the this silvery gold color. Remember, it's easier to add a little bit of pigment at a time. Once you've gotten it in there, if you get it too dark, it's gonna be tough to reverse that. So you want to go slowly. You might say, "Gosh, this is taking a while." Well, so what? You know, I'm actually trying to. Here again, I want to make it as close as possible, and so I've actually added a little more gray. And if you ever watch anyone in a hardware store or a paint shop, if they're trying to custom, mix a color for you, they typically will add some pigment, they'll mix it up, and they'll check it. And they go a little at a time. They don't go all in because, again, it can be tough. Think of it like when you're cooking and you add salt. It's a lot easier to add a little at a time than it is to undo if you've gotten too much salt in a dish. It's sort of like that, in a way. Better to add a bit at a time than to overdo it and have to try to reverse what you've done. That can be tougher. So I'm getting a little closer, I think. It is still lighter at this stage, but in terms of the color, I don't know. Again, you have different colors, different. The power of pigments varies, and that's why mixing things is not, always one-to-one. In fact, it rarely is. I'm going to do one more attempt at getting some of this gray. To mix with the gold silver here. Some of you may have not played with paint since you were a kid, maybe playing with the tempera paints or watercolors or whatever they would let you work with in school. Or maybe you're an artist, or maybe many of my viewers are craft people who have some level of interest in craft or arts. Okay, one more shot, one more time, and we're gonna probably leave it be. And like I said, some people are afraid to attempt this because they're worried they'll get the color wrong. But you can always go back over it, as I'm doing here. You just want to, you've got so many chances at this before you start to create, sort of a building mound of paint, which you don't really want to do. So I think I have now. You may say, well, does it look better? Does it look the same? The texture is different. And coming over here, let's see if and when this paint has dried, there's one more trick you can try. Let's say you've gotten it close and you've put your touch-up paint on, but unfortunately you've noticed that there's a difference in the sheen. Either the paint is more glossy or less glossy than what is on the rest of your machine. There's one way you can try to sort of even that out, and that is with, once again, the paint must be completely dry, not just to the touch, but cured. Right? Paint will feel dry to the touch, but you may want to give it extra time, right? Give it you can give it several weeks if you want to let it dry. And then you can take a very soft cloth and you can come back over once more on the bed. The bed is really, I'm actually quite happy with it. You sometimes have to know, okay, when is it time to stop instead of continuing to fiddle with it. But anyway, what you can do is you can take sewing machine oil, a very soft cloth, and gently wipe over the surface. And people often will polish their sewing machines with sewing machine oil anyway. And if you do this, having that shine can help hide. I may do that with this machine. I've got just a few areas here that now the bed of this machine is quite shiny. If these paints, in fact, the person at the hobby store told me these paints will dry. They may not dry very glossy. Some of them do, some don't, because they're designed to be used. They're trying to imitate, for example, armor on a model, and they don't always want the armor to be shiny. Maybe they're not knights in shining armor, but okay. Well, overall, again, it may not be exact, but once I am finished here, and once the paints have dried, I will likely take, as I normally do anyway, to sort of finish. When I finish, I've already finished cleaning the machine, and I like to go over it with I'm not pouring lots of oil on it, but I'm going to take a cloth and buff it with oil, and that will help some of these areas on the machine to further sort of basically disappear. They're going to disappear from, you don't want them to stick out. That's the whole point of this, is to tidy it up. So again, I don't have the original paint. I don't know what the formula is. In fact, there may be no one living that remembers what the formula is. Who knows? But this is one of those situations, and I think this may be the very first time I've ever actually gone to acrylics, because I couldn't find the color even in nail polish. So, there you go. Maybe it's a little better. If you've been watching the video, you can see I've been darkening it, graying it down just a little bit, still metallic. Not perfect, but you may look at your machine and say, you know what, I'm fine with it. I don't need to do any of this touch-up, and that's totally fine. The machine doesn't care as long as you have a machine that is not rusting and you've removed the rust. A lot of times these chips don't have rust in them. They just, it's an aesthetic thing, and that is always subjective and totally your opinion when it's your machine. I hope this was helpful for all of you, and I will see you shortly in the next installment, when I hope to finally be able to say that the Pfaff number 6 is awake and ready to sew once again. Take care, everyone. We will see you next time.